Wowzers McDuck.
We'll get to that too.
McDuck?
Yeah. There's a McDuck thing coming up this week.
Great.
So
New Zealand, McDucks, and what was the other one?
The Liverpool football team.
The Liverpudlian
football team.
Yeah.
I call them the Liverpoodles.
And they're glad you do.
I'm sure they aren't going to kill me at all.
As long as you called them that from here.
Exactly.
All right. Before I do the normal thing, Patrick, honestly, is the UK as messed up as we are or more? I'm just asking for a friend. Here we go. Like, subscribe, and follow. This is True Really News because
we need it. Oh,
because
so
of the
bad.
Wonderful thing.
It does.
We're off to This Is True Really, the wonderful news from
afar.
odds.
We're going to have to think that one through a little more.
Your odd one.
And your
and
odd
then
two.
your odd two.
Your odd three?
Well, odd three would make sense.
Yeah. Well, the one with the big schnoz. I'll never forget the first time I said that, and you were so offended.
Well, kind of like, kettle pot.
Newcastle
where was
Bulls.
I now?
You were doing the whole intro thing.
That's it. Like, subscribe, and follow us. Please, dear God, let us be done with this soon. If you have a question, comment, conundrum, or snark, and it's brief and to the point, you can leave it right wherever you found us. Scott bruises those each and every day.
Yes.
Looking for reasons to feel either offended or emboldened.
Adequate. Just adequate.
No, it's not emboldened. What's the...
I have delusions of adequacy.
That you do. If it's a longer thing or even a story, TITR@netradio.the-network.
It's not the network, it's .network.
Fine. Picky.
This is True Really News with Scott Combs and Tony Vercanis. All the news you're about to hear is true.
Really?
As far as you know.
Police in the town of Kernitz near Bern, Switzerland, nearly dropped their donuts when they scanned through radar images snapped on April 13th.
My goodness. Why would they be dropping donuts on this scan thing?
They discovered a party speeding.
A whole party?
That's hardly Swiss, because the
Is that
Swiss
like-
are law-abiding.
Is that like, what, a party car, a bus, what?
The duck in question was a mallard.
Of course he was.
Caught by speed cameras doing 52 kilometers an hour in a 30-kilometer zone.
Oh, tell me they're not going to bust a duck.
Duck busting is an oddity in the Wild Kingdom.
You need to sign.
The story, first reported by the Berner Zeitung newspaper, took an odd turn.
Some poor bastard had to write that?
As if it wasn't odd enough. It turns out...
How do you know when it took the turn?
You're going to figure it out right now. Turns out a similar-looking duck was captured flying in the same spot at exactly the same speed on exactly the same date 7 years previous.
So this is a second-generation speed demon?
Or it's the same one. Ducks can live 10 years.
Yeah, but by the time you're 7, dude,
You've got bursitis, and you're not.
You've had a couple injuries, and
yeah. And if you were a rugby playing duck,
then
your shoulders are shot.
Little legs would be taped up. You'd have the bandage on the wing.
Anyway, the municipality said it considered whether the whole thing might not be a belated April Fool's joke or a fake picture. This is why committees shouldn't be allowed to think things.
Maybe it was a roadrunner and they didn't know it.
No, I saw the picture.
He was holding up
a mallard.
a duck sign as he ran by.
It's a mallard. Mallard imitation. No, what's it called?
Huh?
It's Axiom. No, the Acme fake duck. God. But the police inspectorate said it was impossible to doctor images or manipulate the radar system. The computers are calibrated and tested each year by Switzerland's Federal Institute of Meteorology. What that has to do with ducks speeding in Switzerland makes me wonder.
Well, I'm guessing Scrooge McDuck funds it. So,
And the photos are taken are sealed, this is just nothing but famous last words. Any number of ducks could have pulled off this speed caper.
no, I don't think so.
I will now turn your attention to Gizmo Duck, Duck Dodgers, Darkwing Duck, and Bat Duck, to name just a few.
You left out Daffy.
Anybody else?
You left out Daisy.
Which did Daisy do? Oh yeah, she
was
did do a
pretty fast for a
superhero.
duck. I'm
But
just
she
telling
did
you.
a superhero thing in one of the
Daisy?
cartoons. I think Daisy did. I think it was Daisy.
And then there's Donald, because he never wore pants. He'd have to move fast.
Foul play is definitely suspected.
The vast number of sheep in New Zealand, I'm just going to go right past that, if that's okay with you.
Thank you for not bringing any attention to it.
Sure.
Did I mention foul play was suspected?
Yeah, twice.
I know it hurts me too.
Yeah. So I found two things from New Zealand I thought was interesting.
All right.
Sheep in New Zealand. Now, New Zealand's about the size of the UK, physically, pretty close.
Okay.
It's also the southernmost tropical island.
Ooh. I wish
The
I'd
vast-
known that before.
The vast number of sheep in New Zealand, relative to the country's scant human population, has long been the subject of jokes aimed at the...
time.
Can I say Kiwi, or will they be offended?
No, they won't be offended.
Okay. Anyway, after the jokes at the Kiwis, the country is one of a handful in the world that's still home to more sheepies than peopleies.
Yes, it's true. I called a South African a Kiwi the other day at church.
Although I've seen many countries that have lots of sheep, it's just they've all been sheared and now walk on their hind legs.
Wales comes to mind.
We call them sheeples.
That's
Humans are catching up, according to a new figure released last week. With a population of 23.6 million sheep and 5.3 million people, there are 4 1/2 sheep, and you did not want to be that 0.5 of the sheep. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
It hurts.
Well-
you think shearing sucks?
if you're the front half, you can think, but you can't poop.
And if you're the back half, you can be a politician.
Yeah.
No, you'd have to be a horse for that. Sorry. Anyway, that is down quite a bit from 1982, when there were 22 sheep for each and every New Zealander.
Wow.
Of course, that was back when farming sheep for meat and wool was New Zealand's biggest earner. Now,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
now it's not so much, because synthetic fibers and falling wool prices, and they still have the land for it. Duh.
Right. But they also had the All Blacks, which is a magnificent export.
Entertaining as all get out, I got to tell you.
And the Ferns, the women's team. Oh my God, these guys are so good.
So
What?
I don't have anything with the falling wool price stuff and all that.
Yeah.
In 2023, Stats New Zealand, a government agency, so they're here to help, said New Zealand in 2022 dipped below 5 sheep per person for the first time ever. They lost 1 million more sheep in Tuesday's figures, which recorded livestock numbers as of June of 24.
Wow. That's big.
According to Toby Williams, a spokesperson for sector lobby group Federated Farmers, if I'm really honest, the wool industry is almost at that tipping point, if not already there, of not having a wool industry anymore. And then where will I get my socks? Because
You love your wool socks.
I love my merino socks.
Yeah.
And as long as we're talking sheep, let's talk some other living creature. A rather large and carnivorous New Zealand snail, once shrouded in mystery. Well, there's a little less now.
Well, qualify this large snail. How big is it?
Big.
But okay. I was thinking size of your hand. Holy Pete! But you're saying about this tall.
Yeah.
That's a pretty
round
big
and-
snail.
It's a pretty good sized snail. And he is carnivorous, so he eats things like,
Carns.
I'm trying to think what moves fast enough for him to catch. Slugs.
Slow enough, you mean? Slugs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They are a slug, aren't they?
Now they have, are they?
I don't know. They operate on a trail of slime. I know that. I mean, so
Now
they're
we're-
obviously political.
Now they have footage of the snail laying an egg. That's how they reproduce, with eggs. They laid the egg from their neck. Why am I seeing some bad episode of The Big Bang Theory in my head?
Ooh. That'd be
What
a real
looks-
pain.
What looks like a tiny hen egg is seen in this video emerging from an opening below the head of the Paulophanta augusta snail,
In the front or back?
which is it matters?
Well, apparently not.
Yeah, they're a threatened species.
Like you see why.
The video was taken at a facility on the South Island's west coast where conservation rangers attempting to save the species from extinction
Are down there shouting at the snail. Push! Push!
have. Now breathe. Wow. The conditions in the containers, by the way, that they were keeping them in have to mimic the alpine weather in their only former habitat, a remote mountain that they were named for on the west coast of the South Island that has been engulfed now by those evil miners. Sure. I got nothing.
This from the Mirror via Patrick Reed.
Our man in Liverpudlian?
Bloody.
Our man who's a Liverpudlian?
A man was ecstatic after discovering about $47,000. No, 47,000 pounds. So that's more than $47,000. It's like 58, maybe more than that. Stashed away in Nesquik tins while refurbishing his future retirement home. Builder Tonio Pinheiro was working on a house he'd purchased in Lugo, northwestern Spain, when he stumbled upon the incredible find. He unearthed 6 tin containers crammed, I say.
You mean stuff it full?
Absolutely with loot.
Yes, would have been fine.
Cash amounting to the equivalent of about 47,500 pounds. It was concealed within the property's walls.
Boom.
Right? However, his excitement was short-lived as the money was in Spanish pesetas, a currency that became obsolete in 2002 when Spain adopted the euro as its official currency.
Thanks, guys.
In fact, when Mr. Pinheiro tried to exchange the discovered money, he found out some of the notes were so old they could no longer be converted into euros. He was informed he'd missed the deadline for exchanging older notes at the Bank of Spain, rendering a portion of his find worthless. But the silver lining.
There's a lining of silver?
Despite the setback, Mr. Pinheiro still managed to pocket 30,000 pounds by trading in some more recent currency from his haul, revealing it paid for a new roof, he said, in Spanish, I assume. I guess they kept these containers to avoid humidity. Or Nesquik, yeah. Last ones were somewhat damaged, but the others weren't. They were ironed. It was incredible.
Money laundering.
Exactly. Tonio revealed the house had been deserted for 4 decades before his discovery, and he had snapped up the property after spotting it listed on Facebook. He also planned to keep some of the outdated cash as a keepsake. Paper the bathroom with it.
There you go.
See?
And he said that in Spanish, too.
Likely. Yeah.
Well, not see, because that would be...
It would be baño.
Yeah.
Paper
Pet
le
stories.
baño.
You know how pet owners can be an interesting breed,
Yes.
if you will. I'm a dog guy, but I know cat people that can be just as weird.
I like both.
You would. Clarice Bosman has a cat named Tofu.
Ooh. Does he take on
Tofu
the
was-
flavor of anybody he's with?
Tofu was not a good kitty. Tofu liked to chew on things in her quiet time. Things she wasn't supposed to.
Oh, good grief.
And ended
Battery
up breaking
chargers.
off one of her canines. Yes, felines have canines.
Somebody make it make sense.
It's a tooth.
Uh,
So she did what any good cat owner would do. Off to the vet they went, and the vet had bad news. The tooth was so badly damaged, it had to come off. Unless
Up with its tooth.
Bozeman shelled out money for a cap. Not a cap. Cap. For Bozeman, it wasn't even a question. Tofu was too young to go without a tooth. So she forked over the money. Now Tofu has a new piece of bling in her mouth that she can flash, and it shouldn't break if she's chewing on things she shouldn't be chewing on. If you're wondering, all the dental work came to about $5,000.
I'm telling my wife right now because she still says, boy, that dental cyst you had cost us a pretty penny.
Think if you were a cat.
Right?
No, if you were a cat, she'd had you put down.
Should have put me down herself. What are you going to do? Gas him? No, I'm going to step on his throat. That's exactly what she'd do.
Trust me, I can take care of him in my own way.
Coming up later this week, all about Liverpool football.
I can... Real football or the sissy stuff they play in Europe?
Oh, the one with the lawn fairies.
Yeah, I take more dives than an NBA basketball player.
This is true, really news. Send email to TITR@netradio.network.